You talk about the world we live in. The Last of Us is very obviously about a post-pandemic world. And this was back in 2013. And some critics of this game and the story say that it was unusually dark and very cynical. It's a very dim view of the human spirit and its capacity to care for others. But I know for myself in the last 2 years, in the now and still very real pandemic world, I think reality has only reinforced some of those aspects of the game where uh, the, there are so many competing interests, and it's in a survival setting. How would they clash? But I want to hear from you. How has the last 2 years changed your perspective, if at all, of that original vision? And how did this, did any of this inform how you approach some of the new changes in the show? Because there are a few changes that you've talked about in the show, and people will see that. I want to know if any of the past 2 years, the experience has kind of informed, kind of made you rethink the game, and also has any of that appeared in the show as well?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a rethink. Obviously, it's the pandemic has been a wild experience. I've lost a relative to COVID-19. So it's been
So sorry to hear
quite
that.
intense. Thank you. But I think it's more just reaffirmed what I've always felt, that we're capable of wonderful things and really horrible things. And when you see people fighting about masks or vaccines, and it's disheartening. And then when you see people come together and really help one another, um, that's the thing we're all striving for, or at least some of us. Um, so yeah, I don't know if it's really changed much. Logistically for the show. We just knew people would be kind of wiser to how these things operate, so we wanted to make sure we've done our research and we're as scientifically grounded as possible. Just again, because people are more savvy to how pandemics work and how the government and society can react at large. But the game and the show are really not about a pandemic. Like, there's one episode that's about a pandemic. Everything else is what happens afterwards. And likewise, the first 15 minutes of the game are about a pandemic. Everything else about what happens afterwards is about relationships and people. That to me is the meat of what The Last of Us is. The other stuff is dressing to get to that meat, to get to those relationships. That is the core of what we were building.